Like the Real Housewives of Max Verstappen up in here.
Checo's checked out.
Joe Lonyu is off the track. That steak is cooked.
I gotta say, a lot is at stake for Steak F1.
Man, even the broadcast couldn't handle that stat.
Man, my heart almost was screaming like, how can anybody be a Lewis Hamilton fan?
No.
Not on my 2024 bingo card.
Yeah, we're gonna have to create a new one now.
Hey guys, and welcome back to Lights Out Latest. My name is Marina, and I'm here with Tristan, Steven, and Jason. And today we're gonna talk all things Singapore Grand Prix, the most boring race has in F1 history. Yeah. If you didn't wake up for it, you didn't miss much.
I did not wake up for it.
If you didn't watch it live, you truly didn't miss much. However, the weekend as a whole, I've never seen so much news and so much bad press in my entire life. If you missed my Fun Fact Friday, there's a lot to catch up on. So,
I was going to say, for a bad race, if it is able to get disguised by a pretty busy news week. So.
Busy.
Yeah.
Let's go for it.
I was just going to say, I will say, as a Red Bull fan, hear you say that is bliss.
Hear me say what?
That was the most boring race of all time.
Well, see,
that is bliss
to my ears. That's a good point.
The reason I start with that is because everyone on TikTok has been posting that are McLaren fans, because I have a lot of people. Anyways, they've been posting being like, I used to complain about how Max Verstappen's leadership long lead was so boring, but now that it's my favorite driver, I feel like I'm a hypocrite.
It's true.
Y'all are hypocritical, because when Mercedes fans,
it
when
happens
Lewis was
to everyone.
leading every race, they didn't care.
Yeah.
They thought it was awesome, right? Yeah. So I'm allowed to think the same.
No, I'm not saying that at all. I just think it's funny that that's how it works, and it's great that it's happening.
Yes.
That's all.
Well,
it's not.
But it is funny, because last year, 2023, when we started the pod, I remember we would come on after, I can't think of a good example, but just a Max Verstappen win. And Rena's like, no, it wasn't boring. It wasn't a boring race. It was good. And we'd all sit here just no, wrong.
It happens to everyone.
My parents would say that too. I'd call them and they'd be like, "Oh, how it was how the race." My dad would be like, "I fell asleep 5 laps and I woke up at the end," and I was like, "How? It was such a good race." It's like Max led every lap with the 5th Grand Slam of the year,
Yeah. Well, when you're the fan of the person who's dominating, you're going to look at it more than just a race.
That's true. Absolutely.
You're going to look at the little things and all that they're doing well.
Hoping
that's why
nothing breaks.
Yeah. And that's why I love blowouts, not to make a football comparison, because I look at it as like an all-star game. It's let's see what greatness we can do, and it's the same thing in the motorsport world.
Yeah.
It's let's see what lap times you can pull out. Let's see what we can do strategy-wise. It's great.
Oh yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because at the end of the race, the McLaren's pit wall was seriously considering pitting Lando because they had the pit gap, and
why not?
It didn't work out, but
you can start testing things. It's awesome.
Yeah. But let's get into the news before we get into the race. First headline is the one that makes me the most angry out of everything. Christian Horner said that actually the first poor development, where it went wrong for Red Bull.
I love this.
Barcelona last year.
The reason why I love this so much is because, the reason why they didn't do anything, right?
Because Max was out driving the car.
Max was just too good. It's
why,
Max's fault.
That's why I love this headline, because, all of the haters that are have been for years saying, it's just the car, it's not Max. False. Sergio Perez might not be the world's greatest driver, but he's also not a rookie driver.
Yeah.
He's been driving this car, and every time he hasn't crashed, he's been in the top 10, and I think the car is worthy of the top 10 by itself.
Yeah.
But it's not without Max. It's not a winning car
for sure
with the dominance it had without Max.
Yeah.
So I guess this just kind of proves my point.
Congratulations.
They have been arguing for years.
You, as a Red Bull fan, you have been validated.
I've been validated. As a Max fan, I've been validated. I don't know. I think it's so crazy that you would just blatantly ignore a poor upgrade because your driver is still doing well. That's crazy.
Well, it's not like back then they knew it was a poor upgrade. They
did.
No, what I think happened is they're looking at it now oh, we're having so much issue, I don't know, with the suspension dampeners. When did we start to change to this new design? And they look bad. Kind of like the Mercedes Zero Pod concept when they had no side pods. At first, they thought it was really good. They thought, oh, we just got to set it up right and it'll be fine.
Yeah.
And then finally, sometime last year, they're like, no, there's no way to fix it. We've tried every way to fix it and get all the potential we saw and thought we had. So, in essence, that was a bad design choice back in 2022.
Yeah.
I think the same thing happened. Like, no team is going to deliberately put something on the car that's worse. They're just going to revert to the old spec. Red Bull did that earlier this year. They put a new upgrade on the car, and they reverted to old spec like they are right now. Yep. So it doesn't mean they just kept the bad design.
I was going to say, I feel like it insinuates, too, that maybe Red Bull were so proud, or not proud of, but they knew this piece was working, that they were like, God forbid we do try and fix a problem that we know exists and only make it worse.
Yeah.
Then what happens?
I
then,
think,
maybe we get a little jump start on what's happening this year where maybe Red Bull doesn't, like, God forbid, like the last quarter of the races last year, maybe a couple different winners or something like that. They lose a little bit of pace.
Yeah. If it's broke, don't fix it. Even if it's slightly broken.
Absolutely. I think there's an element of it as well that were like, there were bits and pieces that Max would complain about that he's still complaining about now. But also, like, I remember, and I feel like I referenced this podcast episode so much. There's a podcast that Alex Albon did, and he was like, the car is not built for Max. The car is built for what it is. Yeah. And Max is just able to drive to a sensitivity that other drivers can't, that I can't. Like, I'll admit it, I can't drive like that. And I think that that's kind of like a thing where it's like, there's been this smaller issue.
Yes. Known Formula 1 driver.
Breaking news. Marina Contreras is not Max Verstappen. Oh. It's been confirmed.
Yes. Well, Max can. Max can. Sorry, guys. Big
every Max
I am disappointed in you, Marina. I'm very disappointed.
Dang.
I can't. Alex was saying I can't, in case that wasn't clear.
Well, he's not a Max fan. He wants his job, so.
He's friends. They're friends. Anyways, Max can drive to sensitivity that other people can't, and that's why, like, these small little things that were not working are now big things, because they kept getting worse and worse and worse. And that's why Checo's been crashing since last year. Yep. Maybe before that. So
I would just be so curious as to, like, what the landscape would look like if other teams were able to catch on earlier this year, you know what I mean? Where we're kind of seeing kind of like a Braun GP situation happening, where at the beginning of the year they were the most dominant team, and then 1 year they were, the best, and then the second half they lost all their advantage, and then literally they had built up such a strong pool of points that nobody could, even if they like really messed up, which is it's kind of the same thing would happen. They did terribly in the second half of the year, but they were so high in points that they still won the championship. Well, it's kind of what's happening right now is Max was so strong for like the first 10 races, if not more. And then he's still strong, but it's just not currently championship level pace right now. But we're still seeing that he has such a massive pool of points. But like, what would have happened if, like, would they have been able to have been contenders without this massive security pool that they have right now built up?
It's even tighter than Braun GP, because Braun still won the team's championship and drivers. And right now they're, Red Bull's already out of the teams unless they pull some magics from somewhere.
Yeah, they're not going to win it.
Max is still definitely at risk. I mean, not at risk from Perez. He's mathematically out of it.
That was so funny.
Another further, 8 points this weekend ahead?
7.
For Lando?
7 because of Danny Rick.
Yeah, I saw something about now if Max finishes second in every single race and plus some other things, he guarantees the championship.
So
I forget exactly what it was.
What I saw was that if Lando wins every race and every sprint race, and Max is second in every race and every sprint race, leading up to Abu Dhabi, they would go into Abu Dhabi on equal points.
Oh, equal points.
That could happen.
That's what I saw.
Wasn't that literally what happened? Like, again, forgive me. This is what happened like with him and Lewis. Lewis won
2021.
No, it was a lot weirder than that. Lewis started catching back up towards the end, and he kind of what happened back the advantage Max had.
I mean, it was a little bit more even throughout the year, but it is like he did claw back his Max had a bit of a gap.
Well, Lewis won like 4 races in a row, though, right? Going into Abu Dhabi,
something like that. Yeah. He had a couple race wins, a couple P2s, and obviously at the time, a P3 for Max, like, I would have been happy with that. But then you go into 2 years where Max, like, constantly P1, then it's like, I was upset today that he was second, and that's crazy. Like, that's not a normal, like, reaction.
20 seconds.
That's just because Lando is too good, that's all.
Lando is very good. And I'll admit that. I feel a lot of people would admit that. He's great. He's really great. And not because I'm a Max fan, I can't admit that he's a great driver. He is. I think he made a lot of mistakes earlier in the season, even a couple of races from now. He almost made a huge mistake today. That when you think of other champions, not a lot of them make these kind of mistakes. So I don't know.
I mean, it happens.
But
stuff happens. Again, he's still learning how to win. It's okay.
yeah, to keep talking about Red Bull, but just on a different subject. Max said, pardon my French, sorry to the FIA. He said the car is fucked, wig whoop, during the press conference and was given
wiggity whoopity whoop.
big. I said big whoop.
I heard something else.
I said big whoop. Rewind. I said big whoop.
All right.
Let's get the instant replay probably by State Farm on that one.
He was summoned to the stewards and then now has to do accomplish work in the public's interest. I don't know what that means.
It's a community service.
I was going to say, I think that's just a fancy way of saying community service.
It's like the same stuff he had to do for when he shoved Ocon in the pit lane. I think that's it.
I said my idea
I don't even
was
know
like,
when
what?
F1 drivers aren't going to pick up trash on the side of the highway.
Well, I said, what if he has to be like a
food.
tire changer for an F2 team or something
Hey,
like that?
there you
That'd be
go.
funny.
That's a community service.
That would be
I
funny.
thought that'd be cool.
But like, I was.
What type of service is he doing?
I don't.
That's what I'm
don't get it.
genuinely
Librarian
curious
or
to see
what
what
is
he's
it?
going to have to
Like,
do.
Wait. Say it again. It's for the pause.
Accomplish work in the public's interest.
I want to find out what he did. Max Community Service.
Oh yeah, what is his past one?
2018.
I don't
Yeah,
know. I
service
mean, I said you could just donate some amount of money to a charity or something, but like
It might be that, honestly.
maybe
That's probably
yeah.
what he did.
That's not a big deal.
No,
That's like a win-win for him.
I was
I
gonna
mean,
say,
shoot.
Yeah.
maybe.
But my big thing is with how he responded to it was the funniest thing I've ever seen. He proceeds to give couple word answers in the press conference and tells all of the media that he will answer questions outside of the press conference room. Then holds his own press conference on like outside in the hallway of the press conference room. The FIA comes to him and like, you can't do this. You're not allowed to. You have to talk to media in the media pen or in the press conference. And he's cool. I'm gonna go to the media pen. So he tells the guys, the drivers, not the drivers, the media. He's like, let's walk and talk. And he just like walks through the paddock talking to the media, and then that's a wrap.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
that's a wrap.
such a good response.
I know I was telling you before the podcast, I do absolutely love Max's pettiness. It is
God, it's
so
great.
amazing. This situation reminds me, of course, of a lot of those football fans out there. The Marshawn Lynch situation. I'm just here so I don't get fined.
I was gonna compare it. I thought you were gonna shout this out, actually, Steven. The Kyle Busch. Everything's fine. I'm just here. I forget exactly. He had it was
I do
post
remember
a
that.
big
Yeah.
like fine or something for him saying something or doing something against NASCAR, and then he did basically the exact same thing that Marshawn Lynch was, which was answer every single question with the exact same answer, monotone, because he had to make an appearance, like one of those things.
Yep.
I was like, man, I can't remember what he said exactly.
Yeah.
But it reminds me of that so much, and I love it. It's so cool.
It's great.
Oh yeah.
I think that's like, it's the other thing too is that like he's not punishing the media for what he thinks.
No,
is
he
the
doesn't hate
FIA's
the media.
mistake. He doesn't
Yeah.
hate the media. He's never loved the media, but he's not like he's gonna say I'm not gonna do any interviews. No,
Yeah.
I'll do the interviews. I'm just not gonna do it on behalf of the FIA.
Yeah.
Like they can, all their respect, they can go, do whatever they want if they want to punish my language.
Yeah.
He was asked why he wasn't answering the question. He's like, I don't want to get fined again. Sorry, something wrong with my voice. Like,
Do you know what his
funny.
community service was? He sat in the steward's room for a Formula E race.
Wait, what?
That's what he did in 2018. Verstappen was ordered to fulfill his community service by sitting in the steward's room for one race.
What does that
in
mean?
Formula
Just
E.
sit there? Like, all right, you can play on your phone, but you're here.
there's
I
no
assume
way that's
he's
what he
supposed
did.
to like advise the stewards, because that's what most race stewards are former drivers and former motorsport regulators. Like who's a really big one? Giancarlo Fisichella, I think he does a lot. David Coulthard definitely was one. Eddie Irvine definitely was one. A lot of those kind of whatever drivers are just looking for a job that's not podcasting.
That's crazy.
So
That's crazy.
He'll be able to go Nick DeVries.
I
I'm the
hope
best
he
driver.
goes.
Penalty.
Goes to,
Just start tossing out penalties.
Well, they're friends. That's like they're
There
friends.
can only be one Dutchman.
No, only one Flying Dutchman.
Yes.
Oh, wait, is that actually? I was just about to ask that. Is that a nickname for Max? Do they call him the Flying Dutchman?
I don't think so.
No. God, that's such a good nickname.
He's the
Does
lion.
Max? I was gonna say, does Max
Well,
have
yeah.
a nickname?
No.
I don't think he did.
I don't think so.
No?
Not like a.
Because, for example, Danny has a honey badger.
Well, the best
And,
are the
El
emotional ones. Like, I remember Crimelton and Cry and Stappen. Or Baby Stappen.
I know we're getting off topic, but I was curious about that because that just clicked to me. I was like, wait, that's a really good nickname. The Flying
I don't know
Dutchman.
that he has one. I feel people just
Sid
call
the
him
Sloth.
Max.
Oh, Sid the Sloth. Yeah.
Yeah, that one kind of stuck.
That actually did, yeah.
That one's. I don't know that it's a nickname though. It's just
It's
people
just
post
it's banter.
about it.
It's like pop culture in
Yeah,
F1.
exactly.
Kinda. Yeah.
Yep.
But while we're on this topic, I also want to talk about what you guys think of what the FIA president said, because he said we aren't rappers. There's a difference between our sport and motorsport.
That is crazy.
That's crazy.
And
That's so weird because Lewis is a rapper.
Yes,
He kind of is, yeah.
He actually produced a
he
song.
produced
forgot
a
about
song
that.
with
Oh, yeah,
Christina
that's
Aguilera.
Yeah.
His rapper name is Exenda or something.
Huh.
It's
That's
like
amazing.
I didn't know that.
Xanda. Exenda.
Yeah, Lewis wasn't happy about it. I wouldn't be either.
Rightfully so, yeah.
That's terrible.
That's horrible.
That's awful.
There's such a negative racial tone when people
So bad.
people start saying that.
Yeah. And yet
Specifically
he's
him,
worried about people cursing.
Literally.
He's like, guys,
Unreal.
That is not okay.
That's the bigger thing though. I don't understand the issue. I don't.
Well,
and I don't think fans do either, because if you look at the live feed, it's either bleeped out or you just don't play that message.
Yeah.
How many radio messages does a team make to their driver per race? Why can't they pick any other radio message?
Here's the thing I'll say. Where's the president of FIA from?
Dubai.
Bingo. They don't like cursing in Dubai. They don't.
What
it's
is
true.
this?
It's true.
What?
I'm not kidding. They don't like cursing in Dubai.
Dubai.
They're more conservative.
They are.
Sure,
Okay,
Yeah.
I see Steven's point, but
It's not.
see-
They
yeah.
don't like.
You've been
You
there.
would be surprised how many people
you live there.
curse in high
Yeah.
school.
You should go to jail. You go to jail right now.
Teenagers
no,
are teenagers.
absolutely not.
You know,
And so are F1 drivers. Some F1 drivers are teenagers.
I mean,
Oh
next year
my
there actually will
gosh.
be F1 drivers that are teenagers
Again.
Again.
So
What was I? Oh my god, I had something I wanted to say on this issue.
You know, I heard
On the
France
cussing
doesn't
Oh,
or
like
the-
well,
on
yeah, on the
videos.
cussing. Because my deal is all right. So this was in the. Was this a? Tell me exactly when this was a circumstance happened.
he said this in the press conference.
After the race.
No, before the race weekend on Thursday.
Okay, yeah, all right. So where was that? This is where I get confused, because if that was on a platform where you have to pay to watch that content, correct? That's not a public domain. That's not
No,
like
you have to
yeah.
pay F1 TV to watch the press conference in full.
Yeah, exactly.
technically.
So there should be no in terms of, unless if there's a legitimate or agreement that the FIA says that you have to watch your tongue, stuff like that, gentlemanly type of whatever. Then I understand this being a thing. But if that doesn't exist, then there's no national rules getting broken. For example, with the FCC and stuff like that, you can't curse on national TV.
Yeah.
But with cable, you can, because you're opting to pay into a subscription where
Yeah,
you're
that's
paying
the
for it.
thing.
You can get rid of it anytime you want if you don't like what you're seeing.
Exactly. I think that's the thing, and also I think there is some
Trying to
type
make
of
it media
rule about
friendly.
it.
I was gonna say I'm looking into it. There's
There
rules.
is a rule.
There's rules
There
that
is
you
a
can't
rule about
can't
it.
swear in public in Dubai.
Is there actually?
Yeah.
That's a bunch of bull.
Yeah.
That doesn't exist. I've sworn in public in Dubai. I'm
And
sorry.
no
should be
bribing the
arrested.
police.
Well, hold on. It's one of those stupid rules. You know how certain states will have you mustn't have a ice cream cone in your pocket at 6 p.m. or else jail. You know what I mean? It could be one of those deals where nobody, even the police don't even follow it, but they're like,
No, I've never
"Whoa."
heard of
Yeah,
someone
watch this.
arrested
Watch
for
this. Swearing at others, hurling insults, or damaging one's reputation on online platforms is an offense that can be penalized for. You're gonna have to tell me the currency on this, but 250,000 DH to 500,000 DH.
So 200 to 500,000 dirhams
Yeah.
is
10
their
things
currency.
You can't
Now,
do in Dubai.
this is we're so off topic.
That's okay.
This
That's-
is-
yeah. Oh, medicine. You
all-
can't have medicine in Dubai, apparently.
Okay,
This
let's
is a very poorly
We need to get the
labeled-
president some medicine. That's why.
Oh my.
That's what this says. Oh, it's very poorly labeled. It says bringing some medicines into the country is also okay. That means why would you label the article medicine?
That's the definition.
The article is labeled top 10 things you can't do in Dubai from the BBC. By the way, reputable source, and one of them is just medicine.
That's where I saw
You
it
mustn't
from.
be healthy in Dubai. Is not allowed. Like what?
Okay,
Oh,
let's get back on
man.
topic.
Let's get back to let's start talking about race cars again.
Yeah. But sure, let's say that obviously there are things in every country that you can't do. There are things in motorsport that you can't do, right?
Yes.
Right.
But at the end of the day, it's not like he called someone like.
Well, no, it's not like what
I just
Yuki
played a
did.
video. I just played a video. For the group before we started of a compilation of about 2 minutes of F1 drivers saying the word fuck, including like, again, pardon my French, like fucking cunt. If he called someone a cunt in the media, that's something
Yeah,
else.
that's not
But
good.
he said the car was fucked. Like, come on, guys. It's ridiculous. It's not like, and like you brought it up, you said insult, like the way the law is written supposedly is like insulting someone. He didn't insult someone. He didn't hurt anybody's feelings.
Yeah.
Besides maybe the mechanics. But like, that's nothing to do with the media. You know, that's an internal thing.
Right.
So
The mechanics. Who cares about the mechanics?
I do. They're human beings.
well, you
Anyways.
just said we can insult
No.
them, so it's okay.
Okay. Anyways,
It's okay.
They are
let's-
just pawns in the system.
Let's keep going with the news. We spent a lot of time on this, but it's something that like blows my mind. But anyways, Liam Lawson, apparently his Red Bull the contingency on his contract set to expire Singapore after this race. So if they don't sign him for next year, he's a free agent.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's already been kind of booked though. Since I mean, I know nothing's been confirmed, but Danny Rick is basically seemingly out of his seat now. So I mean, it's just logical that Liam
Yeah,
would
you
go
can tell
there.
from the emotions,
This
especially
is
today.
Yeah.
also why he didn't get the Williams seat. Like, apparently Williams wanted him and not Colapinto.
Yeah.
But Red Bull are like, well, we need a clause that we could call him back at any point for the rest of
Exactly.
the
Yeah, I was
season.
gonna say that.
And Williams are like, no, we need a driver just for the rest of the season. So.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think that the big thing for me is, does Red Bull actively want to ruin their reputation in the media? Seriously. You're talking about one of the fan favorite drivers in this sport, period. Right?
They did it last year, right?
But nobody cares about Nick DeVries, all due respect.
Wait, Nick DeVries was a fan favorite?
That's what
No,
I'm saying.
no. I mean, like
They got rid of Nick
couple-
DeVries last year.
that
yeah.
was
Yes.
wrong to say. I
Correct.
meant like McLaren did that to Danny as they dropped him.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it
But
happens
that was
all the time.
that was the
Yeah.
end of the year, was it not?
It was.
So,
yeah.
okay, one
but they
thing
kept
is
him
to
on
say-
as like a marketing guy.
One thing is to say
They did.
is to come to Red Bull to come to him and say, I'm sorry, but we're not going to renew for next year. That's fine. I understand that. But to take him out before Coda, like, think about what you're saying. You're saying you're going to give one of F1's, like, everybody's favorite drivers, you're going to take him out mid-season without a proper goodbye, ending his career before the race in Austin, which is not only one of his favorites, but the crowd is 100% like, they're, besides maybe Checo, he's their number one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense. You're
Yeah.
shooting yourself in the foot.
Well, the
I
only
just
thing
don't
I'll
get it.
say is, I think if you're looking at, I hate to even pull this card, but if you look at it from a business perspective, you probably don't even care about that.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. You want more
if-
points. You
yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Red Bull is probably
literally,
sitting there
it's
like-
a motor
I was gonna say,
race.
what, maybe
Yeah.
and
maybe
they're
they'll
going car
sell
race.
more
Yeah.
shirts that
Red-
weekend
Red
or
Bull's
something.
sitting there like, look, Danny Rick's a great guy, but it's in our best interest to win. And as much as it sucks that we have to do this to Danny Rick, they're going to do it anyway.
What is
It's just
Liam
the
Lawson
game.
going to do? I love Liam Lawson. He's a great driver. But what is he going to do in the last 4 races?
Get ready for next year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, simple as that. Really.
That's why. I
That's
mean,
the
Col-
best way to
what's
describe
crazy is that Colapinto's there.
Yeah.
but
Well, the thing is,
you
too,
can't have
it's like
science out of our.
Checo is already out of the championship.
Which
So
is why I feel like if you're going to make this move, if you're going to put Liam Lawson in and give him
Yeah.
the experience, why not freaking take Danny Ricciardo and take him to Red Bull?
Yeah,
Why
well,
is nobody
'cause the
talking
thing
about
is-
that?
Perez will
'Cause
still
Checo
be
has
here next year
money.
because Red Bull is a
Why?
little bit spineless about him.
Well, because Checo has...
Checo has money.
Because Red Bull, when it comes to Checo,
Red Bull don't
has
need
literally
the
half a
money.
brain cell.
That's honestly true. Red Bull really... Well, now, hold on. Red Bull might not need the money, but we're talking about a global corporation here. They want the money. What do you
exactly.
mean?
You're not
What
wrong.
kind of- are you thinking?
At the
They're,
end of
oh,
the
no,
day,
we're
not
good.
wrong.
A couple we don't need the millions. It's okay.
At the end of the day, it's a business.
A business.
A business.
Yeah.
And like the
When
thing
you
is
look at it that
too,
way, sure. Anything else.
We stand here with our hearts and minds at mind, and that's why we want Danny Ricciardo in that car. I think all of us do. I don't know if anyone here has an opinion.
In the Red Bull?
In the Red Bull.
Absolutely.
When I first heard the rumors, I thought it was because he's going to Red Bull, not out of the sport.
Right.
Here's what. So at the beginning of the weekend on Thursday, that is what I thought was happening, and I'll tell you why. I actually have this written down. Danny Rick was followed in the media pen by not only the VCAR press, but also the Red Bull press people. And that, to me, was something, it was either, look, in hindsight, they wanted to make sure that he wasn't going to spill the beans early, or he's meant to be going, like, this is his final, like, he could be going up to Red Bull, right?
No,
so I feel like
fair.
this is kind of the deciding thing. It was like, he could have had a decent race had he not pitted 3 times through no fault of his own.
Yeah.
You know, like,
I
mean, he did Red Bull a huge solid this weekend.
Yes,
he sure did.
Fastest lap from
Well, he
Lando.
said it he started talking to Viaplay. I think it was Viaplay, or maybe it was Sky, and he goes, "Yeah, if Max wins this championship by 1 point, I'm gonna get a hell of a Christmas gift."
He sure will.
Lifetime
Golly.
supply of Red Bull, just like Latifi has.
Yeah.
Crazy.
The other thing I'll say is too with the Danny Rick thing. I think if you put Liam Lawson in now, it's very low risk, because if you already are down one driver with Checo not even being able to compete for the championship, you're like, well, shoot, might as well just put a new guy in, get him set for next year, and then
Why not
he already
put-
has a few races under his belt next year. You
Okay,
know?
but why not put then Liam in the Red Bull?
No.
Let
the
Daniel.
Red Bull?
That's
No.
right. That's
Perez
right.
is locked in. As shaky
Yeah.
as he's been,
Okay,
Perez
but here's
is
what I'm
locked
saying.
in. Like,
Perez isn't what his. I think what Steven's point was is that Perez isn't going anywhere championship wise. He can't go up.
Yeah.
He can only go down, and it's not going to matter, right? Red Bull has already lost the constructors.
Yeah.
Right.
So why not put Liam in the Red Bull?
Yeah. I said put
Let
Liam.
him finish the season. Let Danny Rick, fan favorite, finish the season, and then bring Checo back next year. What's the
well,
problem?
I think you put Liam in.
not gonna-
You put Liam in the Red
or
Bull, and then you put.
shocking, just sign Liam for next year. Let Daniel finish the season. Let Daniel finish the season. Everybody's happy for.
I like that one the most.
Red Bull doesn't
I
deal
do
with
like that one the
happiness.
most.
Yeah,
Because then
Red
you
Bull
could
has
almost
no
kinda
PR
maybe-
brain
you can
whatsoever.
maybe-
They need help in that
You
department.
could maybe have like a pseudo, maybe not a retirement tour, but you could have like a, like when he goes to his like final race, like it's more of like, okay, we know this is happening, rather than like, oh, Danny Ricciardo next
Well,
weekend no longer in the car. It's like, oh,
Exactly. And we
Yeah.
have this huge break too, is like by the time we get to Coda, it's not even gonna be a talking point anymore, as sad as it sounds. If they
Yeah.
announce next week or this week at some point that they're not continuing with Danny Ricciardo, by the time we get to Coda, this is gonna be like old news.
Yeah.
Which sucks.
Yeah. Though I mean, I think once we do get to Dakota, though, I think it will be uprung again, just because it is one of his.
up,
Yeah.
I don't even know if that's a word, to be honest.
Brought
up
up.
dog,
But-
up rung.
Brought up.
But yeah, I mean, because
Uptown.
like I just picture him in his Texas uni coming out there, you know.
Hey, Texas, our national title. I hope he shows up with Matthew McConaughey. Like, this is what
sure.
the retirement tour needs to be.
Yeah.
Is that he shows up to a Texas game, Texas, Georgia, number 1, number 2 team in the nation, with Matthew McConaughey and Dan Ricciardo rooting for Texas.
And Glenn Powell.
That'd be
whole-
beautiful.
Yeah, the college football would explode as if it would
No,
already.
we got
because-
Well, yeah, isn't College Game Day gonna be there?
Yeah,
I think
they-
so.
Maybe.
It's a later matchup. I think they play in November.
No, they play October 19th.
Wait, we're talking Texas for
Texas,
two?
Georgia.
Texas, Georgia. Okay.
They
Because
play
they've
October-
gotta
we've-
be
We've
a
gotten
college
so
game
off
day.
topic.
This
to be
is
today.
this is why
all right, it's a
Ricardo's
podcast.
leaving early, because he needs to be there for McConaughey and the matchup of the century.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
That's true.
the Red Bull's like, all right, you gotta be fired.
Okay,
though.
wait, that's crazy. I actually just looked this up. Coda is that weekend.
Well, that's why they're letting him go early,
Really?
because he needs to be at the
So,
game, not at qualifying.
Coda is
That is
the same weekend as
crazy.
UT Georgia.
Wow.
Wow, what a weekend to be in Texas.
For real.
What a weekend to be in
golly.
November
Texas.
19th,
UT
yeah.
Georgia, and then
No.
which is the 19th, and the 20th is the race.
Oh, Texas is ranked 1. I
Yeah.
didn't know
Yep,
that was.
Yeah.
Georgia's
Yeah.
2.
Yep.
It's gonna be a 1-2 matchup.
For people
Yep.
that don't know college
Steady.
football, I'm sorry. We've gotten really
It's
off
gonna be
topic.
crazy.
listen.
But
Time
that's
to
gonna be a hell of a
learn.
weekend.
And if Quinn Ewers is still injured, Arch Manning is the quarterback.
You're gonna have the Mannings there. This is gonna be
yeah.
the PR game of the century. This is
All
gonna
right.
be Texas's.
Let's talk about another orange team, McLaren.
McLaren.
The
Asked
superior orange team.
by the FIA to remove their little mini DRS rear wings. They can't run them anymore.
Thank goodness.
How do you feel about it, Steven? Because
Oh,
for
I
one,
was
very
waiting for
happy.
it. I was waiting for it. Yeah, this is just another example of Red Bull just sitting there like, sorry, McLaren's too good. Okay, do better. Sorry.
Everyone
Sorry.
does this though. This is not like
No,
Mercedes
I know.
and stuff banned.
And
I know.
FIA have done this in the
Aston.
past.
I just
Any
want to know,
weird rule,
like,
they'd cut it off.
what part of the rule book that they found that they were like, okay, we can ask them to remove this.
Well,
like,
it's not even that it's illegal.
It's
It's
not
just,
illegal.
Yeah,
it's
that's
just,
what I mean.
Well, I could explain.
Go for it.
So the whole premise is that in the rule book it says, hey, no surface on your car can be bendy or flexible. But obviously that's impossible. Like you can't just make a solid steel F1 car and not have anything flex. Like carbon fiber, that thin and light, is going to flex a little bit. So
Absolutely.
like, all right, it'll flex a little, whatever.
Yeah.
But that allowance is like only 7 millimeters, I think. And maybe the flexibility could be more. So that if I said, hey, you know, the rule book says we try not to flex stuff because of the laws of physics, we have to have an allowance. But if we see something flexing, we will tell you to stop.
right.
Yeah.
That's
So-
fair. I mean, at the end of the day, it's
It's
just
a little bit
another-
gray area,
Yeah.
which is why it took until now to have it revoked.
Also, Helmut Marko has said that Red Bull's already submitted a request about McLaren's front
Yeah.
wing, so I'm just
Well-
waiting for that one now.
I mean, you know what, though? At the end of the day, like we were talking
Why
about
him?
earlier.
I don't
Helmut
know.
Marko?
He speaks to the media. He's the one.
Yeah, he's the
I'm-
one that just
He
talks.
he didn't submit the request.
Oh,
He's
I
saying
thought
Red
he was
Bull
submitting the
has
request. I'm
submitted
like,
a
I can't imagine that
request.
guy
Yeah.
saying.
I was gonna
request.
say.
He's like
yeah.
a doctor in English, I think.
I don't know. It doesn't matter.
Mark-
Like he's hilarious. I love Helmut Marko.
Yeah. Well, again, like the thing I was, like we were talking earlier. At the end of the day, it's a business, so of course you're gonna do everything you can to, you know, make sure that you're doing well. So I mean, I can say this all I want, but at the end of the day, it's a business, and they don't care.
Yep.
Yeah,
It's gonna
absolutely.
happen.
All right. Last piece of news before we get into the weekend, which is crazy that we've gotten this far and still haven't talked deeply about the weekend, which is fine.
News is great.
Yeah.
F1 confirmed that the Bahrain will host preseason testing,
Whoop,
but
whoop.
the first race is not in Bahrain; it's in Australia next year.
That is interesting, I guess. I mean,
Why?
how far apart are they?
I mean, they're not like it's not like you're going from like U.S.
Well,
to
I
Australia.
I
but
didn't mean
still.
that. I just mean like date wise, like.
Oh,
When testing is compared to.
Yeah.
I want to say we have like a week between
Okay.
because it's not going to be in Bahrain.
Yeah.
I don't know
mean-
if those dates have been released yet.
No, that's fair. I mean, I don't know.
Can oh man, I don't want to go off topic again, but can any teams opt out of preseason testing if they wanted to?
Hey, Williams just didn't show up to one, so
They could, but why would they? That's their only
Right.
chance to test the car to figure
Yeah.
out what's working, what's not, and continue development. So
Yeah, I don't know. I was just thinking about maybe
I
if
just think
teams are really desperate to
logistically,
cut
cut
costs
costs.
and just not go to Bahrain, just be like, we'll see you guys in Australia.
yeah,
You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
I
true.
just think it's so ridiculous. Like if you already made the first race, also I think a big part of Bahrain, which helps make it a little bit more competitive, is that because you have so much testing, it's essentially a bunch of free practice sessions before you get to the race. The drivers know how to optimize, and the teams, I guess, as well, to optimize their car for that track by the time they get to the actual qualifying in the race
Yeah.
so well that it makes it just a little bit more, I think, competitive
Yeah.
for
Sure, yeah.
Bahrain. So
I don't know.
I
I don't
don't
really
know.
have an
Doesn't make
opinion
any
on it, to be honest with you. I mean, I just,
I think it's a waste of money.
I get it. I do.
you used to have testing in Barcelona for the longest time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I think
now-
I'm maybe more of a fan of like it's cool that testing is at. Well, I'm kind of partial to the fact of like I think it's strange that everyone. For example, I'm coming from a North American background where like when NASCAR did testing preseason, actually teams got invited to different like preseason tests, or it was kind of similar where like Daytona Speed Weeks, it used to be called, because the Daytona 500 is the first race of the year. You would show up to testing the week before Daytona and you would just stay in Daytona. And then that next week is race week, starting on Wednesday,
That's
I
the
think,
point.
all the way to Sunday.
That's what happens
So
in
I-
Bahrain.
Yeah, I was going to say, I like that concept sticking around. Yeah, I don't know. It's strange. I don't like how it's just,
think
it's,
it's weird.
demanding for no reason, kind of.
I also think
Yeah.
that there's an aspect of it that's like, well, if, for example, you mentioned Barcelona, if testing was in Barcelona and then then the race was in Australia, I think it'd be less bad. Why? Because from the team's factories in the UK, you can still drive, like you can take a truck to Barcelona, but you cannot take a truck to Bahrain. You have to ship stuff to Bahrain, and then you have to ship it again to Australia.
Yeah.
Like, what is the point?
It's like a double negative, kind of.
It's a double. It's a waste of money.
Yeah.
Well, the whole point is apparently Australia paid to be the first race.
Australia will always pay. They love they love being the first.
I mean,
race
they weren't for a little bit. Bahrain snuck in there, but I don't know who in Australia ponied up the money, especially without Ricciardo
I guess
there.
it literally could be
you have
that
Piastri
simple.
now, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Jack Doohan next year
I wonder, like economically, I feel
Where?
like. Whoa.
at Alpine.
Oh,
okay,
yeah.
I totally forgot about that. Alpine is so irrelevant right now.
There's been so much news, but
So much news. I don't know if you guys. So actually, PSA.
Ooh.
This is actually first episode of season 2 of Lights Out Latest.
boom.
What?
I don't remember there being this much news in last year's season.
Especially because
2023.
we had no driver market.
Well,
It
that's what I was gonna say.
same-
Driver market stayed the same, so that's
Yeah.
why I was like,
Nobody moved.
Yeah.
nobody.
Yeah.
But that was also the first time that had happened in forever, right?
Ever, I think.
I think it was maybe the first time. Yeah, ever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
first time ever. Anyways, let's get into the race weekend. The first thing I want to talk about is the lizard on the track because
Lizard.
Godzilla was back.
And he was
another
running.
baby.
Oh,
I
he
guess.
he was
Godzilla
running.
had another kid, I guess. He was really running.
Oh, yeah.
That video is so funny. And what's funnier is when they flash to the drivers in the in the box and they're just like looking at it laughing. It's like so
I
funny.
like the lizard moments in Singapore. They're like my favorite.
Yeah, I don't know where they come from
not
or how they get
as-
on the track.
They're everywhere.
It's
Listen.
just someone's pet, and they just let out every time they go
Every
to
year.
Singapore.
Well, when I went to Mexico, they have a ton of iguanas down there.
Yeah.
And they're just everywhere. It's just like running into a squirrel here at Penn State. Like,
Yeah.
it's the same. So, like, one of them getting onto the track, I'm not surprised. Not at all.
Yeah,
They're just everywhere. They float around.
absolutely.
It's not
Have a good
scary as
time.
like the groundhogs in Canada because
my
it always
God.
seems like one of them get killed or a bird or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
It's crazy.
Anyways, let's talk about quali. First big thing, Franco Colapinto was only 7 1,000ths away from Alex on his second race.
Perfect.
He's
It's
been
insane.
pretty impressive.
The fact that
Yeah.
this kid, I guess this kid is a kid. Is like,
How old is he? Let's see.
how old is he? Is he 20?
Is he our
19?
age?
He is 21 years old.
Our age is very
21.
different because
I was
y'all
gonna
are
say.
21.
True.
He's 23 and I'm 18.
I wouldn't call him a kid yet. I'm still younger than him.
He's this guy.
older than
This
him. I
guy.
won't call
The
him a
fact that
kid.
he does not have a seat next year blows my mind.
Where? Where do you go?
Audi?
Well,
I
what
think
seats
just
are
more
available?
Audi.
God, it's just Audi, isn't it?
Well, after
Or-
this weekend, it'll just be Audi.
Yeah.
After, let's say this week, because I think it'll come pretty quick.
Yeah.
I think there's no reason for them to wait on this news, to be honest.
No, wait, no. Even Audi is just Hulkenberg. So there's only one seat available technically at Audi.
Yeah.
Technically.
I think I saw rumors that it was going to be Valtteri Bottas for a year, which is what I've been saying. If this comes out, I will lose my mind and post it on the pod because post it on the Instagram because in the pod weeks ago I said my prediction was that it was going to be Valtteri Bottas for a year and then they were going to switch him for a rookie for the following year. But that option was going away because Gabriele Bortoleto is currently leading the championship. So if that's who they wanted, he'd be out for a year.
Yeah.
Which isn't ideal.
Yeah.
So
The
Yeah.
pod is also notoriously, we're always ahead on information.
Oh,
And
yeah.
then it's like
It
literally
always gets
tomorrow
posted
morning.
on
Oh,
ESPN
Valtteri
tomorrow.
Bottas confirmed for Audi in
Yeah.
2026.
Well, I mean, he already has that contract extension with Stakes, so I mean,
Does
no,
he?
he didn't extend yet.
I thought he did.
That's rumor.
Oh, well, okay.
One more
Okay.
year.
The rumor
The
mill
rumor mill is always running.
be churning.
Anyways, also, again, we talked about Perez. Out in Q2 again, bro. I don't understand. This man is incapable of qualifying in the top 10.
Hey, behind both Williams.
Yes.
Yeah,
That is
literally.
crazy.
He's racing against the Williams and the Haas's the
Did you
whole
hear him?
race.
Did you hear him in the race say that? Come on the radio and say this kid Franco Colapinto is really good, actually.
No, he's just playing up his own style.
Yeah, he
they want to forget that
could
it's
not
a
get
Williams.
past
They just
Franco
wanna say,
Colapinto.
"Oh, driver."
He couldn't get past him, so he decided to come on the radio and be like, "This kid is good."
Didn't Max have a situation with Franco as well this weekend
Yes,
or something?
during
where
practice they
in
were
practice?
racing, but Max came on the radio and was laughing about it. He
Yeah,
was like,
yeah,
"This
yeah.
kid wants to race." And
Oh,
Franco,
how cute.
Franco like commented on the video, like laughing too. So
Yeah.
I will say, I'm just curious, if we put ourselves in Checo's situation, how do we feel?
Like
if
I'm a
we were
failure?
Checo,
Yeah.
Imposter syndrome.
I wouldn't
How am
care.
I
I'm getting
still
paid
here?
millions of dollars. You know?
I mean, to be fair, he's gonna get in the best of both worlds. He's getting paid millions of dollars to fail. He sucks.
The
He's
expectations
horrible.
are so low.
The expectations are so low that he
The
got
team's falling
P10
apart.
today, and I'm sure the team were like, "Great job, Checo."
You got the point.
I guess
big
it
guy.
would be kind of like a comparison. I wouldn't say on the same level necessarily, but like Kirk Cousins getting paid like $300 million
But he showed
to
up.
be average.
Yeah.
He showed up.
Yeah.
He showed up last game.
last week.
did.
Yeah.
He did.
Unfortunately.
But still, I mean, before that, he got paid $300 million something, and he was
It's meh at best.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about Checo. He's meh at best.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
My
It's
favorite
just-
part is Bottas is saying, "I feel like I'm driving better than ever." But the car is so bad,
car is
nobody
so
knows.
Yeah.
Like he said something.
They've
He
been-
actually said that.
Well,
Are
he
you
did say
serious?
the end part. He said, "Hey, yeah, I feel like I'm driving better than ever, but nobody sees it." Is what
Of
he
course,
said.
because you're 19th.
Yeah.
4 qualifyings in a row that the state cars have qualified dead last.
No points.
It's
Only team with no
crazy.
points.
They're the only team
It's
with no
really
points.
upsetting because I wonder if Joe is like actually not a bad race car driver. Like that's what it really
This
is.
is his last. Abu Dhabi will be his last race.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
But
just like,
notice
so
how
weird.
Stake has dignity, and will leave Joe Guanyu, who, all due respect, there aren't that many fans of, in the car until the end of the year.
Yeah,
Isn't that such a
Yeah.
mind-blowing concept?
Yeah.
Respect.
it's
But
really
anyways,
strange. That
happy
kid,
for
I feel terrible for him because he just has obviously because I have faith in Valtteri Bottas. I think he's a very capable driver, and obviously
Yeah.
he proves that with his career.
Absolutely.
But he's coming in 19th, which leads me to believe that team is just awful.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if
Which
the greatest number
means-
2 driver of all time can't do it.
Exactly.
I mean,
Well, what I'm saying is like, what if is Joe actually like a decent driver? We'll never know. We will
Yeah.
never know the answer to that question.
I would love, and someone brought this up the other day, and I don't know who it was. I would love to see F1 drivers have like an all-star race, but like in carts.
Yeah,
Like one race, like after Abu
that's be
Dhabi.
interesting.
After Abu Dhabi in carts. And this is actually something that was brought up by, I don't know who brought it up. Someone brought this up, like F1 management or something brought up something kind of similar, but being that once the like expenses have been checked off, you don't need the car anymore technically. To have the F2 drivers race in Abu Dhabi with the current F1 cars. So like
The rookie
basically,
race?
yeah, have a rookie
Yeah.
race.
Yeah.
As a
That'd
sprint
be sick.
race.
As instead of like a rookie test, which does nothing pretty much. There's not a whole lot of. You can take some data, but in order for them to get experience, it's not like a practice session isn't going to give them much
No.
of that.
Yeah.
So yeah, have like a rookie race.
We could see Palou and Award in McLaren.
That'd be cool.
I think it'd mostly be F2 drivers, but you could still get some.
Well,
some
F1
outsiders.
would want F2 drivers because F1 owns F1, F2, F3.
Yeah.
I don't think they have the rights to F4. I think they do. I think they do.
Yeah, well, because it depends on the F4. Because there's F4
Regional and
Right.
international.
exactly.
So
So-
I think
I
they
think it'd be
only
fun to get
own
all the
international.
F1 drivers into like a pseudo car that has done sport act. Like kind of like the first thing that came to mind was like a Mini Cooper.
Yeah, I was gonna
Like,
say
get
like
them all-
Miatas
Mini
or something.
Cooper. Well, yeah, Miatas. Yeah, that's a good example. Like
Yeah.
something that's much more driver like intense. Like meaning like Mini Cooper's not gonna. You're not gonna tweak that engine enough where you're pulling away. You're by like seconds down the straightaway.
What if we did? What if we did them in caterums?
What's that?
Caterhams. Yeah, they're
They're,
like open top club car racing.
Yeah, they're open
I'll
wheel.
have to look that up.
They're so
I've
cool.
never seen this before.
And it's not just, I mean, you could do like the basic Caterhams, but Caterham also makes like actual sports cars with
Yeah.
like wings and downforce.
They're actually
They're
based
like
off
miniature
of,
Le Mans cars.
yeah.
They're pretty sick.
They're based off of Lotus, aren't they? Pretty sure.
The original like
no
Lotus,
idea.
I think it was like the Lotus 7.
We gotta name this podcast Sidetrack Central.
For real.
Yeah.
Anyways,
I'm having a good time.
back to Q3. Session was red flags because Carlos Sainz decided to do a whoopsie.
No,
I've
don't
never
remind me
seen
of that.
anything like that.
I remember Jason. It was that morning. It was the morning of Saturday, right?
Yes.
Just I see, no, just in the group
The
chat.
group chat was so funny.
Oh,
I just don't
man.
understand. Like, I don't even think Carlos Sainz fully understands what happened. Like, his tires were just cold
Probably
and it
hit
just
a
went.
lizard egg or something. I don't know.
A lizard
A
egg.
lizard egg.
Oh.
I don't know. I think the biggest thing for me was was Max's lap time deleted. This doesn't make it makes sense, but the way the commentators talked about it really blew my mind.
Well, didn't this same sort of thing happen to Lewis Hamilton a couple years ago?
I don't know.
Because there's the whole thing that I think he was going into the pits and it was a yellow flag and he couldn't go in or something like that.
Yes,
Yes.
it happened in Italy,
yes.
2020.
Yeah.
Yes.
I remember seeing that.
The thing is,
Jason out the books. Just got it right away.
Yep.
so good at it. The racing knowledge is crazy.
Literally.
But my thing is, obviously under double yellows, you cannot improve. That's
Yeah.
facts. It just, you can't, the lap time would be deleted for that reason. However, to say the lap time, to warrant, and then the commentator talking about him getting a penalty for it. But you ride on board with Max Verstappen, you don't see the lights ever. You never see a yellow light. You only see green and then red. That's it. Not on his steering wheel, not on the light next to it. He actually, if you hear it, he lifts.
Right.
When he sees the accident, he lifts, but then he looks at the light and it's green and he goes. That's what made me mad. It was why make such a big thing? And obviously, we talk about it time and time and time again, commentator bias.
Yeah.
But it keeps happening. It's really starting to get on my nerves.
I want to bring up an age-old proposition of my own, which is we need this situation gets easily solved if you have spotters in practice or qualifying.
Ain't
we
that
talk
the
about
truth,
this
Tristan?
every other
Supposed
podcast.
to be
Yeah.
the spotter.
That's what I'm saying.
Because engineers
but
know
the
right
engineers
away.
are awful.
I know they are.
They're the best of the
because-
best, actually.
I think if
They're
you put
great
a
at
spotter,
car
I
stuff,
think you
but
put a
not as
NASCAR spotter
spotters.
against an engineer. I think different jobs.
Yeah,
For sure.
completely different jobs.
Yeah.
I'm saying in the
Absolutely.
circumstance of in this situation where
Yeah.
there needs to be somebody.
Yeah.
The engineer could be looking at another screen that's showing how tire pressure
Yeah.
is doing or something like that, and just doesn't see this as happening.
And that's
The
probably
spotter's
what
designated job is to make sure the driver is safe on track and is aware of things that are in his blind spot, and he doesn't know.
Yeah.
Max doesn't know that. So, meaning in that incident where he couldn't see the lights or anything like that, he has no clue. So there needs to be somebody that's dedicated
I mean,
so that he doesn't have this problem. This
that's
issue
a-
doesn't happen.
That's a great point because Max actually removes the glass in his mirrors to save a little bit of weight on the car.
That's
that
crazy.
true?
Yeah, and
There's
that's
no
why
way that's
GP is so good at being a spotter. I mean, not this
There's
time.
no way that's true. That's a bunch of bull.
No, I'm just kidding. That's totally illegal.
That's
but
I was just saying,
Yo,
I
I could
didn't
entertain
believe
the
it for a
idea.
second, but I was like, Jason might just know this. This might just be a thing.
I could see it. Haas is doing it to save money.
So you don't care, Jason. You don't care that Max Verstappen's lap time deleted, but how would you feel about Charles Leclerc's lap time getting deleted?
I mean, that wasn't great either. But I mean, they both got deleted, so it's okay.
Hey,
so they cancel each other out. Is what you're saying?
It's even.
Okay,
He wasn't first.
fine.
Marina really wanted some hate there.
Yeah, I was hoping he would be a little bit more upset about that, but I guess he doesn't really care.
I know.
Let's talk about the
It's
race.
great.
Congratulations, Steven. Your guy finally led on lap 1.
He did what's it called? He got the lap 1 finally figured out.
He
And
had a
then
grand
he also
slam.
got Grand Slam. That's
Yeah,
what it was.
yeah.
I didn't mean to
For
skip
those
the
who
bump there.
don't
but-
know, Grand Slam means you get pole, you lead every lap, and then you win the race.
Yeah. Well,
So
the greatest thing about it is you were talking about it all week how Lando wasn't gonna how this wasn't gonna
we
happen.
have a lot of banter, and I was very sure that this was not going to be the week this happened.
Trivia is what happens if they lead every practice session too? What's that called?
Triple Crown.
No,
I don't know.
Triple Crown is
Well, I know it's a horse thing. I know.
no,
No,
Triple
we-
Crown. There's the Triple Crown of motorsport is Monaco,
Indy
Indy,
500
and
Le Mans, right?
Le Mans.
Yeah,
Yep.
Le Mans.
Yeah.
But for practice, I remember we've talked about this
We
before.
talked about
We've
this.
definitely
Well,
talked
Max
about
has
this
definitely
before.
done this before.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I have no idea.
All right, it's a Grand Chelem.
Oh, yes. Yes.
I've heard this. Yes.
Yes,
Anyways,
we're just that much better than tennis. Like they can only get a Grand Slam. We get the Grand Chelems.
well, okay. So you weren't mad at Charles Leclerc's lap time deleted. Were you mad that they both had terrible starts at Ferrari?
After quali, the expectations
Expectations.
were really low, especially at Singapore. So all my expectations were reset.
Okay.
I honestly, this race I didn't feel much for Ferrari. I was hoping to get George at the end,
Yeah.
but
I was
George.
hoping George was gonna crash himself
I
out.
really
at
thought
some
he
point.
would have, but George.
No
being
harm is meant
the
to any drivers.
Top tier driver he
But-
is, kept it together and
Frickin'
defended fourth.
Freaking typical Red Bull fans right here.
What was it gonna do for me? Max was second. It doesn't affect me. I would love for Lando to have crashed, but unfortunately, he just dipped the rear wing. He didn't actually crash. Like as I said, this is not me wanting any driver to have pain in or they crash or anything. I'm just saying, statistically speaking, it's already happened once. The George Russell.
No, he's that good. He doesn't make the same mistake twice.
That's a lot.
The high-end
top 3 driver right there.
That is the biggest hot take I've ever heard in my entire life.
I will defend George. He's
I'm
just
not
as
even
good
serious.
of Lando. He's just as good as Piastri.
Wow, that's shocking.
Way better.
I wouldn't
than
even put him in my. I'd barely put him in my top 10.
We've talked about this before. We know how crazy Jason is. He said this before.
Yeah.
He stands on business, and you gotta respect it.
Yeah, man.
Anyways, also first Singapore Grand Prix with no safety car, and we've now gone officially 9 races or 105 days without seeing the safety car.
Freaking quarter of a year without a safety car.
Burt Mylander is seriously getting paid to do nothing.
He crashed the safety car. That's probably his whole salary in 1 year.
Yeah.
Just.
That's why there's been no safety cars. They just don't want him to crash again.
Oh wait, that was this year, wasn't it? That he crashed.
Yeah, he crashed like a couple races ago.
In Imola, no, in Monza. Yes.
In the final corner, he slid off.
Yep.
Crazy.
Yep.
Also, I said this so many times this weekend. I don't understand. Like, Nico Hülkenberg is such a G in qualifying, but then to hold up Alonso, Leclerc, and Perez and finish ahead of Perez makes me like crazy.
Well,
I just.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do?
It's like you have all the top drivers.
You're going to get rid of Checo. It's terrible.
Well,
Can we hire Nico Hülkenberg? I'd love to see Nico Hülkenberg in a Red Bull seat.
I'm so shocked how his career has been resurrected.
He completely resurrected his career.
And at Renault with Ricciardo, and he was the one leaving.
That's crazy.
And he came back, and now he's the one with the seat, and his teammate Magnussen is one. So his teammate Magnussen is going to be gone. Perez will eventually be gone, and Ricciardo's gone. But Hülkenberg somehow found his way back in. I don't know how.
Absolutely. I don't know.
Good for him. He's doing well.
Just, I don't think anybody really cared much when Nico came back, meaning that was like, I don't really get it, but like whatever, high seat experience.
Yeah.
I'm
sure there's no expectations there.
Yeah, exactly. Nobody expected great things, and then out of the gate, his qualifying performance was so good.
So good.
Which resurrected his career because now he's an Audi driver starting next year. So
good luck.
Yep.
Yeah.
What do you mean by that?
Italian. Well, I mean, Audi and Sauber are a whole nother mess right now.
Yeah.
And then now you got Mattia. At least Mattia will give him a good engine.
Binotto.
Mattia Binotto is going to destroy that team.
No. The engines are great. The engines are great.
But that's not what he's in charge of.
He's like the CTO, Chief Technical Officer.
Well, as long as he doesn't make any important decisions about strategy or about drivers, it's fine.
He's going to be consulted on all of those things.
Yeah, well, he better not have the final say because he didn't do it at Ferrari.
The 4D chess move pulled by Ferrari is they knew back in 2019, or when was it, 2022, that Audi was coming back. And they knew Audi is dangerous because they've been so
they
let
good Mattia Binotto go so Audi would take Mattia Binotto and destroy
and then
Audi.
Found like recruiters to meet with Binotto, and this deal has been in the works since then.
Are we theory crafting right now?
That's some tinfoil hat stuff right there.
Because you have a force like Audi who literally demolished everybody in Le Mans. Like, nobody was better.
Except for Ferrari.
And they're another hybrid engine. Well, the only reason Ferrari's winning is because Audi is gone. So Ferrari's like, now they're gone, so we got to get into Le Mans.
Yeah.
And now we got to ruin their F1 program by dumping Mattia there.
I thought Cadillac was stupid good at Le Mans.
Yeah.
They are pretty good,
Cadillac
too.
and Acura.
If only Ferrari were good at strategy in the race. They're so good at this politics thing where they got like themselves a veto vote in the F1 rules, and like Mattia is now going to Audi to ruin their day. Like, if only they could do this on track with tires. Like, they can't figure out the round rubber things.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh my gosh. Do you genuinely think though that Ferrari has beef with Audi?
No.
I was
this
gonna
is all
say.
made up. This is
Okay.
this
Well,
is
I
all-
got that, but I just didn't know if you genuinely thought Ferrari had a thing with Audi.
I'm
No.
not a Ferrari conspiracy theorist, but all the puzzle pieces are there.
No,
All
that's
right.
true.
It just I glued them together. For
Boom.
everybody.
Yes.
Let's talk about someone who actually did nail it with tires. And that's McLaren.
Nail it.
More
He had a flat?
importantly, what do you mean he had a flat?
Oh my god!
You said nail in the tires. You nailed it.
This is awesome.
that was a dad joke and a half right there.
That was
Jason's
so
on it.
bad. I've never seen such a bad dad joke. That
Just
was
never say
horrible.
nailed it with tires because that doesn't.
Okay, he did a great. Landon Norris drove a spectacular race.
There you go.
Spectacular. It was
Very good.
amazing.
Yes.
Fun fact:
Ooh.
Carlos Sainz in P7 was the first driver not to be lapped. In other words,
It's incredible.
P8 to P18 were on a lap. They were all a lap down.
Dang.
In fact, I think Daniel Ricciardo finished the race 2 laps down because he pitted for softs to do the fastest lap.
Yeah.
It's so
Just too
spectacular.
good.
Just really
too good. Sorry.
Very, very,
Just
very good.
too good.
Too
Now, that isn't because he drove without mistakes. He drove a great race. However, he almost
It's okay.
ruined it all
It's okay.
by crashing.
Everyone makes mistakes. It's okay.
Did y'all see the cool down room? The Max and Lando's reaction?
You showed me before the podcast, I think.
Yeah.
What were we talking? Oh yeah,
So
yeah,
funny.
yes. They were
They were
squealing.
like, "Ooh, oh, they sounded like little girls
They
reacting
did.
to it. It was so funny. But
Oh, man.
yeah, I guess.
Yeah, I do.
Oh, also, important note. I don't think this has gotten a lot of media coverage because it kind of popped up after. Both Mercedes drivers were excused from media duties because of their health.
I did hear that.
That's just that's how bad it is.
Yeah.
Fergie Colapinto apologized on the radio after the race, saying, "Sorry guys, I wasn't really able to attack, and I wasn't really talking back on the radio, but I couldn't. Like
Yeah.
I was using every ounce of strength I had to keep it on the track."
Yeah.
Yep.
Apparently, there's a video of George like stumbling out of the car.
I did. Yes, he was. I did see this.
Well, it happens all the time in NASCAR. I know.
Yeah.
But I mean, the craziest thing about that too. I mean, of course, there's only so much you can do even with open air cars, but
yeah.
that just I think tells you even more how hot that is.
Yeah.
The fact they have open air cars and yet that's still happening.
Yeah. I'm really curious about Qatar. This year, I think it's a little bit further back in the calendar than what it was last year.
Second and last race. I believe.
Yeah. So, and it wasn't, I could be mistaken, but I don't think it was that far
I
back
have
last year.
Qatar as like a championship decider. Like that sucks. That's a terrible track.
It's not a bad track. I like Qatar.
Oh.
It's. I think the reason for it was just because of the weather. I think that they couldn't risk their drivers' health like that again. That was horrible. Last year, you had drivers like puking in their mouth,
Yeah.
not finishing the race because of the conditions, almost fainting after. Like, it was crazy. The only driver who didn't experience that was Max because he was hungover, and I don't know how that maths, but apparently it does.
Well, I can tell you from experience that
Got a couple of pros here. Okay.
Yeah, I know. I'm very well aware. Anyways, I think that's like, other than, actually, I was going to say that about covers it, but we were missing one very important thing.
what is that?
52 points separates Max Verstappen and Lando Norris in the Drivers' Championship.
Yes, it does.
I've never been so nervous.
Be scared. Be
I
very
am.
scared.
I am very scared.
Be scared
Very
of
scared.
the orange man.
The papayas are coming.
Orange team.
The papayas have already arrived, my guy. The papayas arrived months ago.
Oh yeah.
The problem for them is, can they stop A, taking wins away from each other? B, are they going to be enough? Is it going to be enough to take Max
Yeah, well,
with the lead that he
they-
had up?
I mean,
It takes one mess up
yeah.
I
Well, the
mean-
thing is, like, they were saying
That
that.
is very true.
on both sides.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because right now, if Max wins a race and Lando DNF's championship
That's it.
is
Yeah,
over,
yeah.
it's over.
Well-
Because that 52-point gap, if Max gets 25, that's what, 77 points in 6 races. Let's say that. Mm-hmm. It's not going to happen.
No,
Yeah.
it's
It's
not.
impossible.
But that's all it takes.
Yeah.
That's all it takes. It takes one DNF. It takes one crash. It takes
Well-
one time that Lando Norris qualifies poorly, like he did in Baku, and gets into a wreck on lap 1
Yeah.
for it to be over.
Yeah. Yeah. It's true.
Same side on Max. Max is, and that's not just saying that like Lando could do it. Max could have one bad quali, start in 15th. If he DNFs and Lando wins the race, that's you're down to like one race win.
Yeah.
You're actually exactly at 2 race wins and a fastest lap, and 2 fastest laps between them with 6 races to go.
Yeah.
It's insane.
It's exciting stuff.
It's gonna be
It's
close.
exciting stuff.
Could be very
Arguably one of the
close.
best Formula One championships we'll ever see. So.
I
I
think
hope-
21 was better.
Well,
21 was
not
better
championships.
because
I'm
it's a
saying
whole
like
year.
year. I
Year.
like
Listen.
how. I mean, obviously, you can cherry pick this year and just say if you get rid of the first like 7 or 8 races, then it's arguably one of the best F1 seasons ever.
Yes.
Absolutely.
But it's still been a great F1. It's been a
You see,
fantastic
this is the
F1
argument for a
season.
longer year. Is I love the development time balance where
Yeah.
like the top teams get less developed. This is the new regulations have worked perfectly. The cars are so much closer.
Yeah.
Teams can catch up throughout the year, and one team can't just pay to play outspend the other
Yeah.
to pull ahead. So
Absolutely.
honestly, the new regulations incredible. Let's just quick recognition of the masterful
Absolutely.
rework of the regs.
Yeah.
Great
Yeah.
job, team.
All right. Well, the last mention is that Daniel Ricciardo did get the driver of the day. We talked about him getting fast lap. He got the driver of the day. If this man retires after today, I will lose my mind. I was crying this morning listening to the interviews between Danny, Rick, and Max and their friendship and stuff. And I was like, guys, please, it's too early in the morning for this. So,
Yeah,
At that-
we'll see.
quote of the day is, if I can find it.
Ooh.
Hello.
Uh-oh.
Yes, it's on purpose.
Oh,
Carlos.
Patience to know this.
so does that mean it was a Ferrari driver
It's from Singapore.
this
in general.
year?
No,
Oh.
Singapore GP.
Carlos Sainz?
Yes.
Wait.
Wait, I said Carlos Sainz.
Ah.
You said it?
Yeah, I don't
Oh,
know
I
that
didn't
anyone
hear
hear
it.
it, but
I
yeah,
didn't
I
hear
did
it.
say
No,
Carlos.
I
That's
will
I
take
didn't
that
hear it.
one.
easy. It's okay. I mean, you'll see it in post. You'll see it in post.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Look at the tape. Look at the tape.
Rewind the tape.
Rewind the tape.
VAR. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. We will be back next week, Monday at 11:30 Eastern Time. And between now and then, check out our social medias at Lights Out Latest on Instagram and TikTok for Tech Tuesday, Wag Wednesday, Throwback Thursday, and Fun Fact Friday, plus some other Man on the Street content. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
See ya.